Alright, welcome to another video where Josh gives questionable, unethical advice. I'm just kidding. It's actually good for you, but you might be asking yourself, Josh, you just put out a video that was motivational and now you're saying don't work so hard, stop working so hard. Yeah, so that's kind of what I want to talk about in today's video. A lot of people, they get their job, they land that job that they want, and maybe it's their first job that they ever get, and they go in just like pedal to the metal, foot on the floor, gas, 100%. They're maxing out every single day. And it's my advice to not do that for a few reasons. I know for most of you guys out there, you're grateful for that opportunity. Somebody reached out, somebody said, hey, you know what? We value you. Here's an offer. And you are just like amazed and you want to do everything you can to get in there and show them that you are worth that hire and you are worth it. That potential that they saw in you and they wanted to hire you for it, like you're worth it, and you want to verify that and you feel like you owe it to them when you first get the job, so they can be like, oh yeah, we made the right decision. Okay, first of all, I don't think that's the right mindset to have. You should be grateful for the opportunity of being hired there and appreciate being there, but I don't think that you should feel all of a sudden like I have to work 150 hours. When you first get your job, it's time to set standards. Just like in negotiating money, you set your standard, you set your rates, and people know what you value yourself as when you go into these negotiations. You set the standard of what you're worth and what your value is. It can be really tempting to want to just go in and just eat lunch at your desk and just push code and push code and not do any of the fun things that they have on site and just like straight work all day long because you owe it to them. They hired you based on your potential, all right? They didn't hire you based on what you could do. If it's your first dev job, that's probably the reality of the situation. They don't really care what you know at the time. They hired you based on what you could know and what you could do. So they already hired you. Stop feeling like you owe them everything right off the bat. You could be appreciative, send a thank you letter, send a thank you mail to everyone that you entered with and you're like excited to get started. Is there anything that you can prep on, but don't, okay? They hired you, you're good, you got the job, stop worrying about it. If you're still worried about it, number one, it might be because you don't think this is a good job, or number two, more likely, you probably just don't have the confidence in yourself yet, and so you're desperate to show everyone what you can do. But you're gonna dig yourself in a hole if you do that. What you wanna do on your first few days of work, set the standards, set your respect level, and this is some sort of arbitrary thing I just made up while I'm doing this video. You wanna set your respect level of how much you respect your time and what you're willing to do. This is where you do it. Right now, the beginning, your first week or two at work is when you set those standards of how you actually work and what kind of BS you're willing to put up with or you're not willing to put up with. So you come into work at 9 and you leave at 5. It shows them that you value your time and they should value your time. You respect it. Like, okay, I'm here, I'm doing my job, did my job for 8 hours, I'm out. I respect my time. And they should respect your time too, because if they guilt trip you for doing what's asked of you, that says something else about the company. If the company's like, well, we need you to work, 10 hours. Okay, well then pay me more money. The chances are they're not going to pay you more money because they're rolling their lack of wanting to spend more money as responsibility onto you, and they're disguising that of being like, oh, well, you're the new guy, so you have to catch up. It's like a startup. Startups are commonly, hey, we're new, we're still growing, we're small, so you might have to work extra hours. And if you say, well, can I have more money? They're probably gonna be like, well, we can't afford that. Okay, so it's not your problem as the employee for this startup to not secure enough funds to be able to pay you properly. It's the business's fault for not having enough money. And so instead, they are pushing that responsibility off onto you as the employee, and they're just kind of guilt tripping you into it. But as I was saying, you wanna come in, get your work in, leave. Do that. You wanna set the precedent, command respect, command value of your time. The company will either be like, oh wow, this guy, yeah, he doesn't, yeah, definitely, yeah. And they'll respect you for respecting yourself. A lot of managers or a lot of people that kind of are management material are people who don't take a whole lot of BS, or at least the good ones. They either want to take advantage of you and they'll be really disappointed that you don't want to put in your dues, or they'll be like, oh wow, yeah, this guy doesn't take anything. I respect that, I appreciate that. I got kids and a family home too. Yeah, I definitely understand. Come in, we don't, do your work, do your 40, get it done, head home, man. Okay, so now we got Mr. Oko here. Say hello to the chat, Oko, appreciate you. The more you bend to their wishes without asking for compensation, the more that they're gonna ask from you. without even offering compensation. And the more you take, the more they'll give. It's like when you were in school and you had those teachers that just give you work, just busy work that you know wasn't part of the grade, but they needed to keep you doing something because that was the requirement. If you finish the first thing, they give you another thing, and if you finish that thing, they give you another thing. Well, welcome to real life, where that's all there is now. If you finish all your work super quick, guess what? There's always more work to do. It's not like you get to finish your work and you get to go home. You will burn yourself out, and you'll need to chill out before that happens. You always got to pace yourself, man. This is real life now. There is no, I'm going to do everything that's required of me and check all the boxes and then just go home. So pace yourself. Don't burn yourself out, and don't take a whole bunch of extra stuff that you don't have to, at least without compensation. Whether that compensation is in money, or that compensation is an extra day off, or that compensation is you can leave a little bit early. Don't do extra stuff without extra compensation. Show that you respect your time. Don't go in with your foot on the gas and have that just pressed all the way down. Have it maybe like 10-20% of what you can do. This doesn't mean don't challenge yourself and don't take hard tickets and take hard activities and projects at work or whatever. It just means work at a pace of 10-20% in that working range. That way, if you ever need to take a break or something happens or you're just not feeling it that day, you can back off the gas a little bit. You can just back off, right? It won't be a noticeable difference if you ever need to just let off the gas a little bit. Because if you go in at 100% and you're just full throttle all day, every day, 15 hours a day, all the projects in the world, everything you can, and then you're like, man, I am burning out. And then you let go, and you're like, I just gotta take a step back. The management people are gonna come to you, and they're gonna be like, hey man, what's happened? You were performing so well for such a long time, and now it looks like your performance is all, it just really slowed down, and we're really concerned. You've set that expectation of this is how you're gonna be starting off. And this is what's going to continue to happen. In my opinion, you should do it backwards, and you should just have the pedal pressed just a little bit. Don't be going full throttle, just enough to make them happy. Maybe a little bit more than that. But that's how I work, because if I ever want to impress them, if I ever want to show immediate improvement, I'm going to hit the pedal. I'm going to press the pedal all the way, and everyone's like, wow, blown away. This was an amazing project, Josh. Wow, we can't believe what you really came through for us. And then you let back off the pedal again and go back to normal. So you know what you can do. You can really push yourself if you need to and hit that exponential mark and really just wow them. But don't start off that way, because it won't be a wow. It would just be the baseline expectation you set for them. Now, this is the part where you're like, Josh, that's kind of unethical. I don't really think it's unethical. I think it's just business, as everyone says in the comments these days. Play the game. And to play the game, you're not gonna, if we're playing NFL football, I'm not gonna go take my playbook. I'm gonna walk across the field and hand it to the other coach and be like, here you go, coach, here's what we're planning. Because then you're gonna lose, and that's what's gonna happen at the job. Do not hand over your playbook. Play the game, keep to yourself, maneuver, finesse. Read the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Unfortunate hard truths in that book, and unfortunate hard truths in life. This actually happened to somebody in the Discord. This happened. He's like, hey man, I've been working way too hard. My manager's really coming down on me now because I just can't keep the rate, because now I've made some money, and I'm like, I was super hyped at first, but I just kind of want to take a step off for a second, just like slow down for a minute, just appreciate what I have now that I can. But I can't, because my managers are coming down on me, and now I feel really burnt out, and I don't like this job anymore, and I don't know what to do, man. That's what's gonna happen to you if you go in full throttle. Another thing here is that you're gonna make your coworkers mad. You're gonna piss your coworkers off. No one likes the guy that comes in early and stays late consistently on a consistent basis, because everyone's gonna be like, look, man, what you're doing here is you're making the rest of us look bad for doing our job, for doing what we're required to do. We are now below you, and we are looking like we are slacking for doing exactly what we are required to do. But because you're coming in here pushing and pushing and pushing, you are raising the working hour standard. So you're coming in here working 12 hours a day. For us to be team players, we should work 12 hours a day and eat at our desk too, because that's what management's going to start to expect from us, because you're pushing all these standards higher and higher and higher, and like we've been there, man. We were there, we did it. Please stop doing that. It's just not gonna allow you to form a good relationship with your coworkers, because no one wants to work with that guy that's like, hey, look man, we get it. You do good work, we do good work too. I'm sure everyone's eager to help you, and I'm sure you're eager to get help from them, but imagine looking like this, there are some motivational videos that are like, don't worry about being called a try-hard, they're just jealous of your work ethic. Okay, well in this industry, you're doing nothing but dragging yourself down with that kind of work ethic, because they're just gonna expect that from you, and then everyone else. So all I'm saying here is that when you go in, set your standards of respect and command respect. And depending on the company, hopefully you chose the right company. Please tell me, like, please, I hope you guys pick the right company. They are either going to be like, yeah, this guy doesn't take any shit, or they're going to be like, well, it looks like this guy doesn't really want to do what we asked him to do, so get out. If you do set the standards and they're like, get out, you already know what they thought of you from the get-go. You already know what they thought of you as a resource, as an expendable thing, as they just wanted to get as much out of you as possible for as little as possible. No, be the guy that commands respect, demands, hey man, look, I did my time. I know you want me to work overtime. I understand that you made promises to the customer that we didn't have any say in. I understand that, but that's on you. That's not on me for making these decisions, so I'm gonna go home. Because I know if I work 40 hours this weekend, you're not gonna give me anything for it. Okay, well, maybe we could negotiate a day off. Give me an extra week of vacation and I'll work. Oh, well, I think we could do something like that. Okay, then I'll do it. But don't just do it to do it, especially when other people make deadlines that you don't control. Like, it's time to go talk to those people. This happens a lot in the industry, but don't be the guy that goes in, like, try-harding. Please don't be that guy, because you're gonna get fucked. You're gonna burn yourself out, and it won't be healthy for anyone. The rest of the team is gonna be pissed, and then you're gonna wonder what you got yourself into. That's my 2 cents for all you new devs out there going into your first job. I'm sure you guys can relate to this. I related to this, and it didn't actually benefit me. It just gave me more work to do. It's literally like being in high school again. Finish your work. Hey, here's another worksheet. Please work through that. And you finish that. Hey, here's another worksheet. Hey, please do that. That's what they'll do to you. It's not like, oh, you finished all your stuff for the day, Josh? Oh yeah. Why don't you just head home? Yeah, good luck. I hope it helped. Maybe it's too real. Do you play the game? Don't give away your playbook. That's all I'm saying. I'll see you guys in the next one.